So now I'm going to go over the RotoBrush with you here. So just like a green screen, what you're trying to do here is you're trying to get rid of the background or perhaps the foreground from a moving video. Since it's moving video and we're talking about 24 frames per second, you really don't want to go frame by frame and try to alter the points with Bezier curves and all that. So there is a tool called RotoBrush, which comes from the term rotoscoping, which essentially allows you to do just that. It allows you to create an animated model, in this case an animated mask, from a moving video. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this video here, and this tool up here is called the RotoBrush tool. If I click on that, what you want to do first is make sure that you are in a full resolution. You double click the layer. We want to be working on it. We want to work on it in the layer window, okay? And so what we're going to do is you'll see that the brush here is this green arrow, and you don't have to be really all that precise. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to click in here and just kind of drag around the places that I want to identify. Okay, and so here you see now there's a pink line going around here showing me what the mask is looking like. So here you can kind of see how it immediately does that. And you can see there's a problem with his ear. I'm clicking on this little alpha boundary switch, and you can also look at it as a mask. And furthermore, when you look in the effect control window after you've applied the RotoBrush, you'll see that you can adjust the edges, which we will do later, but for now we're just trying to create a nice normal mask. Okay, so you'll see here that his ear is not perfectly selected there. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to just kind of click a little bit more around there, and in this tool basically you have to go frame by frame. So I'm hitting the page down button, and I'm just going to look at the edges here, and you can kind of see that his jacket is the same color as the chair that he's sitting on. So I'm going to, if I hold down the Option key and click over here, notice what it does is that it eliminates part of that mask. Now I'm not going to worry about his hair over here. I'm going to go page down, and let's look how things are going along. And you know, we have a little bit of hair over here. Whoops, we have a little bit of hair there that needs to kind of be included. And you can always go back a frame to see, oh, I didn't have it in the previous frame. So you might have to go back. There it is again. So I'm going frame by frame, and I have to kind of look to see how things are going. Okay? So I'm going to just go through this. And so far it's going pretty well. And we'll just keep going through here. Oh, his hand here is now needs to be included. And here we can see the chair is starting to misbehave. Here, ear is an issue again. So as you can see, you don't have to create all these Bezier points. So it's not a perfect tool, but it's a pretty amazing tool, especially when you have a very defined background, you know, like it's very soft and he's pretty sharp. So you can, it works pretty well here. All right, so let's keep going. And we have issue with the chair. And I'm still going frame by frame here. And so far it's looking pretty good. His ear is a perpetual problem here. And I went a little bit too far, so let's undo some of that. Hit the Option key again to kind of remove some of that mask. All right, and so once you've, let's pretend I did the whole thing here. I'm going to hit end. Let's say this is the only part that I want to deal with. So we'll go to the beginning here. And I'm going to hit the end point. So this is the only part that I'm working with. And now I'm going to click over here where we can see our masks. And we can see the various things. This red identifies what is black. And so now when I come into the RotoBrush here, it allows me to take a closer look at these edges. Okay, so let's go ahead. What we're going to want to do is go back to our image here, and you have to hit this where it says freeze. If I then just go back and start working on it, all this stuff is going to go away if I don't first hit this button here that says freeze. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and so now when I go into these other masks, I can kind of see how these things are looking. All right, so then it immediately allows me to go back to my composition window, and you can see that we have our object cut out. Now you can see that the edges aren't great, but we can adjust some of that stuff also. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go into my effects, and I'm going to select matte, and you'll see in there you'll have something called refine or matte. We have different kind of matte chokers. I'm going to select this one, refine matte, hard matte. I'm going to select that, and so you'll see here that gives me some other tools in here that allows me to soften up the edges. You can kind of see that the edges are a little bit softer. So let's go ahead and just look at the alpha channel for a minute. So you can see that when I turn that on and off, it's softened up that edge there, so it's not quite so harsh. Okay, and so this is a really good tool for you to kind of play around with to try to make that not quite so harsh. Let's go back into our RGB. And so now if I took another object, I'm going to put that behind it. Let's go ahead and change the scale so we can kind of see how that looks. So if I go back to my layer here that has the RotoBrush, and I turn the refine matte on and off, you can kind of see that it's a much more subtle line that is being cut there. So this is a really amazing tool when you're trying to do some rotoscoping. It's not, you'll notice that it's not a perfect tool because I kind of rushed through it for the sake of the tutorial, because you can see his ear is not really done really well. And you can see as this is moving along that there's some problem areas, but you get a sense of how this tool works now.